Hello, I'm James Maxwell Supersonic Studios, still getting ready for our trip to Rancho Indalo, hanging out with Anthony and Mary. We spoke to them earlier this week. We've kind of know what we're going to eat, some of the activities we're going to do. We're really excited. It's going to involve whips and horses and knives and tomahawks. It's going to be a really good time. If you can ever get a chance to head up there, even for an afternoon, and you can get lunch or dinner on one of the sides, I highly recommend it. An absolute amazing resource for you there. So let's talk about some of the whips that I'm bringing, these three in particular that I'm bringing along with me on my trip. We're going to start with this one. This is a DeLongis alignment by Holyoke Whips. This is a whip that Anthony had a big hand in designing. This is one of the whips he uses for horseback. This one happens to be 7 feet long. It's got a few special touches that I ordered in it. I picked it up at Combat Con last year, and it's absolutely amazing. What's really important with this whip is that it's weighted, and it carries its weight very, very heavily. And for rolling loop, it does it very, very well. This ends up carrying a pretty thick taper right until the very, very end. That means the energy travels very, very well. This handle, it's solid. It's relatively heavy, but there's a reason for that. My guess, my understanding is that it's because it's used on horseback. And you need that weight to carry a lighter whip, like a nylon whip, on horseback and ensure that you have the accuracy and the consistency that the work Anthony does is necessary. What it means is it's a very, very, very fine whip, but in my hands, it's just a little heavy. Oh, there's one more thing about this that is really cool, actually. Because Bobby does a lot of work with Grandmaster Ron Liu of Tibetan Wave, this whip cracks beautifully off the top knot. So that's one of Grandmaster Liu's trademarks and specialties. So I just remember when I was messing around with this and I started throwing it from there, and I told Bobby, I said, "Hey Bobby, guess what? I just got this." And she just kind of looked at me and was like, "Huh, you found it." And I thought that was really cool. So this whip is definitely coming with me. But I've got some other whips that I had made. So let's take a look at those. For those of you who don't know, Derek Taylor of Taylor's Whips and I have worked very, very closely for a number of years now as working on whips. Some of the whips that he's made me, I've sent back for modifications. Some we've decided to do new things. This is a 7-foot target bull whip that we worked on. He actually spoke with Anthony after Anthony saw one of his previous whips. And so they had a phone conversation. They talked a little bit more about whips. This is the end result. This is 7 feet long as well. It's got a slightly shorter handle. And what's more important for me anyway, it's a little lighter in the hand, at least as far as the handle is concerned. And that means my hand doesn't fatigue as quickly. So this could be considered version 1. And it too flows very nicely. Loops really well. All of this, it does it very well. I'm very fond of this. So this is version 1 of the whip that we were working on. And then recently when I said, hey, I'm going back to the ranch, and I kind of talked to him a little bit about what I'd experienced with Bobby and a bit about her whip, he was like, hey, I'd like to make another one to show Anthony. And I said, sure, of course. So we did that. So this is version 1 right here. A really, really pretty whip. It's got the brass ferrule there, and just beautifully done. This could be considered version 2 of the whip that I just showed you. This one, much like one of the whips Anthony just ordered from one of his regular natural hide makers, Trinity Whips, Blake Bruning, this one's about 7.5 feet long. It's a little longer, but a lot more design consideration has been added to this whip as well. So it has the brass ferrule. The handle is just a little bit longer, and the taper has been carried further into the whip. That was one thing that Bobby had mentioned upon seeing version 1. And I think we're there. This, with the extra weight and everything, flows beautifully and wonderfully. It's just perfect, right? Super excited to see what Anthony has to say. But again, we carried the taper a little longer in this. It has this gorgeous, this wonderful fall that again works on carrying that weight.
and the handle's just a little bit longer. It's very comfortable in the hand, and is definitely a whip that, for me personally, I can hang on to this and use it for an extended period of time. My hand doesn't hurt. That's just a problem that I've been dealing with for many, many years now. But this is a wonderful whip, so I'm super excited to see what the end result is. I'll probably try to throw up a video from the ranch talking a little bit further, perhaps with someone who knows a little bit more about whips than I do, what they think of this whip. But that's version 1, or that's the Holyoke whip, and then versions 1 and 2 of the whip that we've been working on for me to bring. So we leave, it is Sunday, we leave Friday morning. We'll be up at the ranch probably around 1:30 or 2 on Friday, and then we'll leave Sunday in the morning to go catch a train to San Diego. So really looking forward to it. I had a blast last time. Sure that we'll have a blast this time. So just a small update from us. So until next time, practice. Stay safe.